I thought what I would do is buy several of the cheap guitars that you see on Amazon, kind of to compare and take a look at. And some of them turned out really good. Some of them I was pleased with, and they're keepers. And there's a few that are absent from my collection, and I'm going to give you the reasons for that. So let's start off. This is the Monoprice. I think they call it the Cali. It's a Strat recipe, fairly simple guitar. You can see that it's been modified a touch. I put the pick guard on it. I took the covers off the neck and the middle pickup. And then the bridge, that's a Ibanez Super 58 bridge. I had to do a fret job on it, level crown and polish, which is pretty standard for anything I'm going to keep and play. The guitar, a Strat's a simple guitar to put together. This one was, I believe when I bought it, it was about $79. And in all honesty, I consider that a steal for this guitar. And now I believe at this point they're going for about $109. I can't really tell you about how the tremolo works out because I don't use tremolo and I block it. I love a hardtail Strat, so I think on this one, other than replacing the pick guard, the pickup, and the bridge, I put a Pure Tone 1/4-inch jack, and I rounded off the headstock to look a little more Stratish and get rid of that teardrop kind of look. But overall, this is a player. It sounds good. It plays good. And I did decide to keep it for my own. You can also see that I sanded off the logo from the headstock, which is just something I do. Well, let me say it this way. If it's not an impressive logo, I usually sand it off or paint over it. But I really like this guitar. I play it. I enjoy it. I like having a cheap guitar around on a stand that I can grab at any point and maybe lay down an idea or just practice or just pass the time. But yeah, for $79, I do like it. I'm glad I bought it, and I'm glad I kept it. Now this guitar is the IYV, however you pronounce that. I bought this for a guy who wanted to have a Les Paul. He was a Strat guy. He wanted to try out a Les Paul. I wanted to try out this guitar, so I bought it. I did the fret job on it, and I let him use it for a while until he finally bought a Gibson. This is a decent little guitar. I did not replace the pickups or the tuners on this one. I'm not awfully fond of the green, but it's okay. You can see that the logo's covered with tape because when I wanted him to play it, I was actually trying to talk him out of spending the money on a Gibson, in all honesty. So I let him play this one, and he took it on day one and played it for a while and then brought it back to me. He was actually pretty pleased with it. This was a $150, $170 guitar. One problem that I see with it is somebody got a little happy with the drum sander, looks like, and there are several places around the back of the body that are just scalloped. The finish looks good, and you got to look close to see this, but it is there. Now, one thing about this guitar, comparing with other Les Paul copies, is this one's very light. It's not a burden to wear on a strap. I think these pickups say CNC designed pickups or something. They're pretty good. They're okay. They're not great. This guitar, I've got so many Les Paul type guitar double humbuckers. I've kept this one this far. I'll probably look to sell or trade this one. Just, not that I think it's not worth what I've got in it, but just because it's a duplicate of so many other guitars I have, such as this gold top. This is the Licks Pro. you can see that I've done a good bit of replacement on this one. Again, I did the fret work. I did not replace the tuners. I did replace the pickups with some that I had here. Dragon Screamers, I believe is what these are, from Dragonfire. And then a tip of the hat to Barry Bailey of Atlanta Rhythm Section. You can see this gold top has a TP6 style tailpiece. It has a roller bridge because I'm pretty fond of roller bridges. I got into them a while back, and even without a tremolo, I think it reduces any kind of tension at the bridge, and they're just heftier. There's more to them in the build than there is in a standard ABR. I'm really not happy with cheap ABRs at all, or cheap Nashvilles. So in an effort to keep this guitar in tune, I've got the fine tuners on it. Swapped out a couple of knobs for no apparent reason. I do like this guitar. It is heavy guitar. Now this is the Grote P90. I got this guitar at $189. This guy sees a lot of action. Again, I did the fretwork on it, and I did replace the pickup with a Mojo Tone P90. The pickup cost as much as the guitar, and there you see my famous roller bridge swap. This guitar I put a little bit heavier string on than a guitar I would use for rock or blues. This one is more or less my fingerstyle jazz guitar, and when I do my fingerstyle shows, I do some 70s covers, some radio hits. This is the guitar I use for that. It's just a friendly little player. I did replace the tuners on it too with some Gotos. This guy's a barrel of fun to play. It's light, it's thin. I enjoy playing it. It stays in tune real well. Sounds great through an amp. Definitely, this Grote was such a keeper that I bought another Grote. I love this guitar. Did the fretwork on it. It's got a roller bridge. I replaced the tuners with the Gotos. I didn't do any other replacement to it. Actually, in this shot here, you can see that I did knock it over on its face and break the volume control, the knob for the bridge pickup, but I've since swapped that out. I play this guitar every week. It's the one I use when I play at church because it'll do acoustic, it'll do electric. I keep some tens on it with an unwound G for bending and such, so this guy just fits the bill. Kind of doesn't matter if we're playing heavy or light, this guy does it. And I'm just really pleased with the Grotes. This one was $189. I think still definitely worth it. I love this guitar. I play it a lot. One problem I have with cheap guitars is actually the names of them. Grote is not a wonderful name. It may be somebody's like family name, but what kind of guitar you got? A Grote, But I mean, Licks Pro, and that's not a great name. Bullfighter, not a great name for a guitar. I mean, it just doesn't say quality. But I let the guy play this guitar over the weekend, and he had never heard of one. And he's playing it, and he was really digging it. And I said, okay, now this is a cheap guitar. I said, what do you think it cost online? He says, $400 or $500. I told him, no, it was $189. And it just shocked him. Now, I have in the past had some Fireflies. I don't have them anymore. I don't know why I didn't fall in love with Firefly. The first one I bought had quality issues. It had overspray. It was one that during a time when you hardly could find them online, and all of a sudden there was one online one morning, and I ordered it. It was a wine red color, had overspray on it. I don't know why I didn't like it, but you guys probably know what I'm talking about. When you play a guitar, you're like, yes or no. And for me, that Firefly was just a no, and I sold it. Later, I traded for another 335 style Firefly. It was a green one. After doing the work on it, I did swap the pickups, I remember. It just, I don't know, just wasn't a keeper. It just, something about the Grote, I'm just like, yeah, this is my guitar. But for some reason, and I can't explain it, it's just something about the Firefly that I just did not bond with. And I'm sure you guys know what I'm talking about. All right, what we have here is the neck of a Glary Telecaster. Where's the rest of the guitar? Don't know, don't care. This actually, this neck came from a friend of mine who had bought the Glary, and he said, man, I got to swap the neck on this. This thing is twisted. So he bought a neck and brought it to me. I swapped it out for him. What you want me to do with this neck, man? Throw that thing away. It's twisted. Well, I looked at it and it's not twisted. The problem with these guys, or the problem with this one, this was the first Glary I ever had my hands on, is that whoever crimped the frets in this thing needs to find something else to do for a living. Here's a artist rendition. I paid lots of money for this rendition of what the fret actually looks like over the 6 strings. So the dots are the strings, and then you got the fret. It's high on that side, then there's a crimp here, and then it's high again here. And if you look further down the neck, you can kind of see it in the shadows on, around, look at the 13th fret right there. It's fairly obvious. Then later down the road, I bought a Glary for this experiment. I bought a Glary Telecaster for $75. I turned right around and sold it for like $65 or something. I sold it to a friend, took a loss on it just because it had the same fret issue. So that's why I don't own any Glaries at this point. You can see from the headstock that I was testing on this old neck to see if I could cut a real Telecaster shape into the headstock, and you can. They look okay. I don't know, man. There's guys that love Glary. I don't know that I'll ever give them another chance based on what I've seen out of the fretwork. So there's a quick review of really 8, counting the Firefly, 8 cheap guitars and my thoughts on them. I'll keep the mono price. I kind of enjoy playing the Licks Pro Gold Top, even though it's a duplicate of guitars that I already have and I really don't need it. I'll probably keep that one. The Grotes are definite keepers. Absolutely definite keepers. The ones that I still have in my possession, I'm going to keep. The ones that are gone, I probably will not order from again, just in honesty. I would probably try a different brand before I would try Firefly again, and definitely I'm not going to spend any money on a Glary. But that's just me. Your mileage may vary. You may have some of those guitars that may be great for you. Just didn't work out for me. And that's what I talk about in my videos is, my experience. Not trying to diss on your guitar, something that you play and enjoy. Just wasn't for me. So I hope you've enjoyed this. It'd be cool if you would like or subscribe. I'll mention that at the end of the video instead of the beginning. Maybe we'll build a little community here and talk about some guitars. For now, God gave me one life and I'm living it Southern. Thanks.